All right, eighth grade, this is our lesson 13 on solving equations. We're going to be starting to solve some equations. We have some vocabulary. Now, our vocabulary, a variable, is a symbol, usually a letter, that can stand for a number. Equation is a sentence that shows equality between two sides. We have a reminder to keep things equal in an equation. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign must be done to the other. So if we remove a 2 from one side, you have to remove a 2 from the other side. For example, n plus 2 equals 4. If I subtract 2 from both sides, n equals 2. Then I can go back and fill it in. Also, a reminder, each operation has an opposite operation. Adding 2 is the opposite of subtracting 2. Dividing by 7 is the opposite of multiplying by 7. So here we go. Paul has saved $257. He wants to go on a vacation that will cost $450. How much more money does he need to save? Now, we could probably figure this out in a much simpler way, but we're going to work on writing equations. One way to solve is to let a letter stand for the unknown number. Because this letter should stand for a number, it is called a variable. Then use the facts in the problem to write an equation. An equation is a math sentence that shows equality between two quantities. Everything stated on one side of the equation equals everything stated on the other. And on Paul's problem, the unknown is the amount of money he still needs to save for a vacation. Let M represent the amount of money he needs. So you have what he has saved. You have your variable for what he needs to get to the total. All right. So when we have that problem, here's what I like to do, guys. I'm going to write it over here, and I'm going to do it in black. We have this equation of 257 plus M equals 450. I like to tell everybody to box in the variable. All right. Now, this is a positive 257. So what's the opposite of a positive? A negative. So I'm going to subtract 257 from both sides. Over here, when I do that, that becomes a 0. Well, this leaves me with an M equals 193. Either way is fine. I just prefer to write my equations like this. So, another example. Gina collects baseball cards. She keeps them in a loose leaf binder in a special plastic pages. The pages cost 15 cents each. How many pages can she buy with $2.50? Well, we know it's 15 cents times however many pages to equal 250. So if I block in my variable, okay, this one's a little bit different. So you could write that P times 0.15. Now this is why I don't like to use the time or the X key, because that looks like the X. So we're going to go back and we're going to make sure we're using our point equals 250. Now, if I block in my variable, what operation is being done to my variable? It's multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 0.15. This cancels out. I get P equals 16. So it's 16 pages. Okay. Now, I know that was a little confusing. We will be working through these together. All right. So make sure you have those notes copied down before going on. Antoine has 6 cousins. He gives each cousin 25 stamps from his collection. How many stamps did he give away? Well, my stamps that I give away is going to represent by S. And it equals, I have 6 cousins. I'm going to multiply that by 25. That's the way I would do it. Now, what's the opposite of multiplication? That's division. So I could also write this as S divided by 6 equals 25. Or I could write S divided by 25 equals 6. Those are all the different ways that I could write that equation. Now, when I look, I find that same equation right here. So I'm going to box that in. Now, when I do that, I have to do Okay, so I'm going to erase this now because that's my equation. So now, to solve my equation, I'm going to box in my variable. What's the opposite of division? It is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. This cancels out. I'm left with S, and 25 times 6 equals 150. So it's 150 stamps. That's how you would solve that. Make sure you got this copy down. Guys, I'm not going to make it that hard on you in the lesson as long as you take this information. This is just a beginning of equations. All right, so let's look at this one. Joconda spent $6.50 of her allowance at the movies. She had $5.50 left. How much is her allowance? All right, now she went to the movies and she spent $6.50. She has $5.50 left. That's going to equal her allowance. Now, if I have this much left and I spent this much, what's my total? That means I need to add. Now, when I look down below, that's not one of my possible equations, is it? So if I think about it, what's the opposite of addition? Subtraction. So if I did this and I could have A equals, or excuse me, sorry, I could have A minus. Now, I could either do it $6.50 because of what I spent and get $5.50, or I could have A minus $5.50. That's how much I have left, and I spent that much. Either way is fine. But of these three equations, when I look, here is the equation that matches this one right here. So I'm just going to circle that. Then what was her total allowance? I just have to solve that problem. And when I take this equation here and I box in my variable, oh, let me change colors, and I box in my variable, I'm going to add $6.50 to both sides. This is going to cancel out, and I get A equals, well, $5.50 plus $6.50 equals $12. That was my total allowance. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do, as I just stated earlier, this is the beginning of our equation work. I'm giving you one problem. How many problems? One. To try on your own, to write an equation, to write an equation, to get an answer. Just try it. That's all I'm asking you to do, because I am being ever so generous, and I'm not going to make you do this. This is all knocked out. Okay? So you have one problem to do on this assignment. I have done everything else for you. Good luck. Have fun. Oh, don't forget to submit to me to Canvas. Whoops, that's way too small. Don't forget to submit to me to Canvas when you're finished. Good luck and have fun.